watchOS 10 is finally here, and here's the complete guide of all the tips and tricks, as well as some hidden features that Apple gave us for watchOS 10. Since everything was slightly tweaked and moved around, this is a quick refresher, but also an excellent first-time user guide in case you're new to the Apple Watch world. So without wasting our time, let's jump right into it. So what I have right here is an Apple Watch SE 2 and this Apple Watch Series 8. And my iPhone is an iPhone 14 Pro, and it's on the latest version of iOS 17. But I'm going to be primarily using an Apple Watch Ultra just due to the fact that it's a larger display, makes it easier, more visible, especially on camera for viewers. And I'll talk more of why I have the power button over here versus over here. But Smart Stacks is new for watchOS 10 and can be controlled and accessible by rotating the digital crown like so, or you can swipe from the bottom to the top and it will also bring it up this way as well. And the way Smart Stacks works is basically it allows you to not only see the exact time, so you're able to change your watch face to something different that doesn't even tell you the time, but for the consistent time you can always just do that. And here would be your widget support. You can add as many as you like, and currently it's all first party, but in the near future expect to find some third parties get added here as well. Like just press record just got added, and now I could have this as a dedicated widget right here on my screen, so immediately opens up a third-party app and allows me to do audio recording. And then if you keep going down, if you long press right here these little app icons, you're able to bookmark 3 apps right here, and this also supports third-party apps as well. So if you want your heart rate app to be here on top, you just tap to confirm, tap done, and just like that we have quick access to 3 dedicated apps we like that's in our favorites. Another thing you could do is unpin certain devices. So if you want to rearrange it, just tap unpin, which is kind of difficult to do. There we go. Eventually you'll get it. And then you can rearrange them like so. A little bit tedious, but eventually you'll get the flow. And then the control center, if you click on it right here, you notice all these apps now have the new animations for each control center icon you press. And on the very top portion right here is where you can see what all these icons that are on top of your Apple Watch typically mean. So if you tap on it, it will actually specify what it is. So if your microphone's running and stuff, it'll tell you. And the quick shortcuts to all these control centers, it's super easy. If you want to change to a different Wi-Fi network, just long press. It will actually take you directly to the Wi-Fi settings on your Apple Watch. Cellular, you can always long press and see additional information about your SIM card. The iPhone with the lines on the side, this basically allows you to pin your iPhone so you can locate it in case you misplaced it. And if you long press, of course, it was supposed to toggle the flashlight. For some reason it's not working. It just happens to be buggy. Your battery life percentage, this will allow you to actually enable low power mode, which will allow your Apple Watch to go longer than 30 hours. And you can schedule it for 1 day or 2 days if you wish. The flashlight mode, super nifty at night, especially if you have no flashlights or any ways to illuminate the room. You can use the digital crown to control the brightness, and same applies for the different modes as well. Your silent switch is located here. But if you receive a text message and you quickly cover up your Apple Watch and wait a couple of seconds, it'll give you a haptic feedback because it automatically silent itself without you having to go in Control Center. To enable this feature, launch the Apple Watch app on your iPhone, go to Sound and Haptics, and where it says cover to mute, enable it. And now you have the capability to just cover with your paw and it'll automatically mute your device. And then when receiving a phone call, you can always just cover to silent the call. And if you don't want to pick up on your Apple Watch, you can always just tap these little dots right here. You can answer that phone call on your phone because they're actually left on hold until you actually accept the call. This way you don't lose that call because they're automatically on hold. And you can pick up. And if you like to transfer the call from your phone back to your Apple Watch, you can always tap the top portion to go back to this screen. And then this little arrow icon with the Apple Watch, tap on it. It'll transfer the call from your iPhone to your Apple Watch. I'm going to end this before it echoes. Now, theater mode, when this is enabled, you'll still receive your notifications, just everything will be on silent. And if you cover up your Apple Watch, this is going to disable your always on display. And if you rotate the digital crown, you could take a quick peek and rotate it down to turn it black again without disturbing others around. Next to that is your water eject. If you ever get moisture or anything on your Apple Watch, by using water eject, this will eject all the liquids out of the speaker and will also lock up your device from you accidentally tapping on the display when you're underwater. Airplane mode, self-explanatory, very similar to our iPhones. We have that capability. But if you like to separate some of the settings from your Apple Watch to your iPhone, back on the Apple Watch app, go ahead and scroll down where it says airplane mode. You can either allow it to mirror your iPhone, or You could turn on airplane mode on both devices separately, so your Apple Watch will disable Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, or you keep Wi-Fi on and Bluetooth disabled, your preference. Of course, right here will be your AirDrop. This is useful to use if you have AirPods nearby. You connect to them directly, and you can control the active noise cancellation as well as other modes that your devices may have from here. But if you're not using an Apple device, you can also connect third-party Bluetooth by just tapping connect Bluetooth device, and it'll take you to the Bluetooth Discover list, and you can pair from here. This is do not disturb. Enabling this allows you to enable your custom modes you have selected and created, or you can enter do not disturb in general. School time mode will simplify your Apple Watch, where your watch would just be a functional watch where you can tell the time and date. And to exit off of this, you just need a long hold and confirm that you want to exit this. The hearing aid icon, if you have a pair of Bluetooth headphones connected to your Apple Watch or your iPhone, you can monitor the decibel levels from here. Walkie-talkie mode, this allows you to send an invitation to your friend or family member where they can have the walkie-talkie capability where they can always talk to you no matter what, so long as you have your walkie-talkie mode enabled, and you can send requests by tapping the plus icon and just send them an Apple Watch invitation. That's what this icon on top is. So if you don't want to be disturbed, turn this off. Here is your text size. This allows you to quickly on-demandly change the text size of your Apple Watch. I'm going to maximize it just for you guys. Accessibility, this allows you to quickly enable or disable certain accessibilities you have enabled. I'll talk more about some of these in a little bit. And this little icon right here with the squiggly line with the bell, if you have earbuds connected, by enabling this allows Siri to read your notifications as well as messages. And if you don't want that, you just want to continue listening to your music without any disruptions, you can turn that off. And of course, if you tap edit, you have the full freedom to delete some of these that you don't find yourself using the most, and rearrange them by long pressing, as you just see. Now, some gestures have been tweaked and removed, as the double tap on digital crown will no longer take you back to a previously open app like it used to. For documentary purposes, this is a watchOS 9 Series 6 Apple Watch I have. Double tapping digital crown used to take you back to your previously open app. That's gone, unfortunately. There's no coming back to that. Now it just take you to your app switcher, and double tapping on the power button will take you to your Apple cards for Apple Pay. And you can long press to rearrange your cards. That's still here, and that's still the same. Now, if there's an app that's acting funny, you go somewhat force close an app by sliding it out of the way and tap exit. And if we go ahead and relaunch it, the app entirely will reset. Another way to force close an app is long pressing the power button until you get to the power off menu, and then long hold on the digital crown. That also will force close the app as well, as you see. And then of course, if your Apple Watch is acting funny, long hold the digital crown as well as the power button at the same time. This will force reset your Apple Watch. Now, since that Apple Watch is rebooting, now while the Ultra is rebooting, I'm going to turn off the Apple Watch SE 2, because even when an Apple Watch is turned off, if you double tap the digital crown, you can still view the time. Now, if you long press, you have access to your Apple Watches you have created. And if you like to share some of these, you can always tap the up arrow and select anybody in your contact list. And on the top portion right here, you could adjust what you want to include and what you don't want to include if you have like complications you just don't want to share. Other thing you could do is rearrange your apps by long holding. You can move it up front or in the back, so you have the capability to rearrange it. And of course, if you want something, you could just delete it. Unfortunately, the Watchface swipe capability is gone. There's no setting for this, unfortunately. So if you're an OG, unfortunately, this capability to quickly switch between watch faces, that has been removed on watchOS 10. The best thing you could do to compensate to this is to schedule each watch face to the different do not disturb modes you have selected. And if you're unfamiliar how to do that, the quick summary is this. On your iPhone, go in settings and go into focus. Select the focus mode you want to select, and right down here where it says customize screen, select Apple Watch and select which Apple Watch face you want to automatically switch automatically. But that's really the only way you can actually compensate to this missing feature. Now, I showed you how you could pin your iPhone from your Apple Watch, but you may also pin your Apple Watch from your iPhone. Go in settings, go in control center, and go ahead and add pin my watch. And now when you bring down control center, you could tap here and it'll pin your Apple Watch so you can locate it. Now back on our Apple Watches, you go all the way to the very right, and the new watch faces that got added. If you have an Apple Watch Ultra, we did receive Modular Ultra for the first generation Apple Watch Ultra, the Nike Globe, Pellet, Snoopy, Solar Analog. And then if we add the Solar Analog, if you go on edit and you swipe to complication, Where it says personalize, you can personalize text like so, because mine says Eddie because I am Eddie. And to do this and to edit this text, launch your Apple Watch app and scroll down to the clock section and then scroll down to monograph. Here's where you can actually create your text. You are limited to 5, however. Other watch faces with nifty features is any of the Nike watch faces. So if we select Nike Global as an example, because if you tap on the Nike logo, this is actually a complication as well, because it'll take you directly to the Nike Club Run app. And you can start your outdoor runs right here. Cool thing about Nike, as soon as you give it permission for everything, it's a free app, uses GPS tracking, and will GPS track your runs. Super helpful and nifty. I don't know why it's glitchy though, for me at the moment. And then some of these watch faces have unique abilities, because if you tap onto the screen, they do different things. So I highly recommend experimenting and exploring the many different watch faces these things have. I go more into detail in that video right over there in case you're curious to know what cool unique skill each watch face is capable of doing. Now, unfortunately, the grid view for apps did get changed. It no longer is a massive screen like this where you can tap on the little corner to actually pinpoint the exact app that you're looking for. Or you have the capability to infinitely zoom out. That's gone. It's all now stacked here, but it is customizable because you can long press to rearrange it to your own personal preference. And of course, you can delete them. And if you like to switch back to the list view, you have to scroll all the way down and tap list view right here. And you gotta do the same thing to go back to that grid view. And if you ever find yourself all the way in the very bottom on an application like you just witnessed me scrolling down, you're always able to tap the top portion of the display to automatically take you up. Now, these next steps are exclusive to the Apple Watch Ultra, and that is the action button. By long pressing here, you have a capability to quickly enable your siren, your medical ID, enter compass backtracking, or emergency SOS. And to reprogram the action button to do other things, it's easier on your iPhone, as I have mine programmed to start my workout. But on your Apple app, to action, and here's where you guys select the different pre-made ones, and you can use Siri shortcut, which allows you to basically do anything. But I select workout thing to do, so launch the workout app. And if I want to, I can also allow it to select the workout, wish it to start immediately. And of course, it will give you the brief overview gestures. I could spend an hour on here, but I'm not. But just read the screen, it'll basically walk you through everything, all your questions you have. And if you long hold this action button, this will also enable your siren. You can turn this on or off. Now, since we're back here, we're done with the exclusive. In the app view, if you select grid view, it's easier to rearrange it from your iPhone screen versus the small display on your Apple Watch. And since we were talking about workouts, if you select a workout, this 3-second timers can be bypassed by simply just tapping on the screen, and it will start immediately. And if you have music playing on your iPhone and you have your Apple Watch text, you have AirPods nearby, you can just connect to them right here and listen through it right here in the media section. And you can also tap on the album artwork if you want to change the different views. And then these 3 dots will give you additional options to go to your playlist or AirPlay to something else. And if you like to start a segment without actually tapping on segment, you can always just double tap. And then on the Apple Watch Ultra, if you tap the action button and the power button at the same time, this will pause your workout and resume back by repeating the same process. And for these 2 Apple Watches, power button and digital crown will do the same accomplishment. And if you end your workout, you may start a new workout without having to end that workout and just continue it under one massive log. But we're gonna go ahead and end it. I'm gonna show you the outdoor cycle workout. When you select this, and if you go back to your iPhone, this little pop-up will come up. If you tap on it right here and unlock your device, you can mount your phone on your bicycle handle, and you'll be able to track your average speed, your current heart rate, elevation, and other bike detail during that workout. And you may also tap the up arrow to view more control options, as well as create segments right here on your iPhone. Only this workout has that companion compatibility, which is really awesome. And of course, on workouts, you could tap these dots to edit some of the settings if you like. I'm not going to go do that because that's really nitty gritty, and that will take a lot of time away from this video, since it's already a long video to begin with. And if you need web browser access on your wrist, by asking Siri to go google.com,
here's what I found.
You have the freedom to actually launch websites via WebKit and view it on your Apple Watch. So this is a web browser we just use Siri to launch on our wrists. And if you like to pair social media accounts to your Apple Watch, go through it more in detail in that video right over there. Now back to the exclusive of the Apple Watch Ultra. If you tap edit and go into night mode, if you select auto, this will allow the Apple Watch to automatically go into night mode automatically because the rotating digital crown feature is gone. But here you can have it off or on entirely. And if you keep it on auto, when your Apple Watch detects you're in a low light environment, it will automatically shift to night mode, and this works 100% really well. Now if you have an Apple TV in your household and you launch the remote app, here you can select many different compatible Apple TV remotes, and you can control your television right off your Apple Watch. Exactly the same way like you would if you have the actual Apple TV remote on your hand. Now for these Apple Watches, if you like to access compass mode, you can always just long press the power button and slide to have access to the compass capability right here, and you can start backtracking. You can use digital crown to zoom all the way out, select certain landmarks, tap the eye icon for coordinates, and just like the Ultra, you can tap here for elevation view in real time, and tap pause to delete your backtrack or start backtracking once you're ready to head back to camp. Now some of you guys were telling me that topograph isn't available on the SE or the Apple Watch Series 8. It is available. So long as you're on watchOS 10, if you keep zooming in, you'll see that you can see topograph right here. So I don't know why people were telling me it's only available on the Ultra. It's available on my Series 8 as well as my SE too. And if you like to offload maps on your Apple Watch, it works so long as you have your iPhone nearby, because when you launch the map app and you need to go ahead and tap on your profile, and right here you'll see an offline capability. Just go ahead and select offline new map, and then you can zoom in to the location you want as well as edit the square, and then tap download, and as well will tell you how much it's going to take up in terms of storage. That is how you can offload maps on your Apple Watch. And pro tip, when sending a message, you can always tap the app icon. You can do your check-in, send emojis, GIFs, voice memos, as well as heart animations. You do scribbles, you have access to the color wheel, and if you long press on a certain color, you have full color wheel access. If you use the two buttons without scribbling, it's going to do a heart rate, and if you slide down, it'll do like a heart breakage animation. Or if you long hold, it will do a fireball effect. Some forgotten features that the Apple Watch can do. And of course on the suggestions, you can edit these if you like to. But if you keep scrolling down, you can send your exact location to that individual or a FaceTime audio call in case you're having reception problems. And to edit these pre-made messages, launch the main app on your Apple Watch and scroll down to messages. And where it says default replies, this is where you can actually go ahead and add some. And for quick access to media control, by tapping on digital crown and scrolling up, this will actually take you to your Apple Music. Now the calculator app, you can use it as a traditional calculator. You can tap tips, so you can actually split it between people. But if we go into your Apple Watch settings and scroll down to calculator, here's where you can switch between tip function or percentage. Then a new safety feature that was added can be located in the health app on your Apple Watch on your iPhone. Launch it and go in browse and type in sun. Your Apple Watch will actually keep track of how much time you've been exposed to sunlight. Now this is primarily targeted for kids, but adults could definitely utilize this, especially if you work from home. And then for a medical ID, if you go in summary, you tap on your profile, tap medical ID. This is where you can enter your medical ID information, which will give you access to it by holding long on the power button, and you can slide for your medical ID information right here. Now since we're talking about safety features, some safety features you want to consider enabling can be located in the main app on your Apple Watch, and just scroll down to emergency SOS. Here is where you can enable, so you could long hold the digital crown to automatically trigger emergency SOS. Here's where you could go ahead and enable crash detection if your Apple Watch supports this. Here's also where you could enable fall detection, as well as disabling it during your workout if you wish. And if you keep scrolling down, you could enter emergency contact numbers, people you also want to get a hold of in case of emergency, not just 911. And if you have a passcode on your Apple Watch, I highly recommend letting your Apple Watch be unlocked from your iPhone, because there's times of days when I just place on my Apple Watch and I forget to unlock it, so I don't get any notifications until I look at my watch and then manually unlock it. I'm most likely to unlock my iPhone than on my Apple Watch first thing in the morning. So by going into your settings and going to passcode, you may want to enter your passcode for this section. But enable unlock with iPhone, and now your iPhone will unlock your Apple Watch whenever you're wearing it, and you have the capability to override unlock it in case it gets to the wrong hand on your iPhone. And personal preference to enable the wrist detection. And if you like your Apple Watch to unlock your Apple computer by going into your computer system settings and go into password and security and go to Touch ID and password and scroll down where it says Apple Watch, enable the Apple Watch. You like this ability so your Apple Watch can actually unlock your Mac. Now, we were talking about Siri earlier. You could actually talk to Siri by simply just saying Siri instead of having to say the hey phrase. And to verify to see if you have this feature unlocked and set up properly, this is new for watchOS 10. Scroll down to the Siri section, and where it says listen for, select Siri or Hey Siri. And I apologize if I set off your device, but Siri is voice activated with voice ID. So if I set off your device, we have the same voice, just letting you know. If you like Siri to read out loud the time verbally by using 2 fingers on your watch face and just long pressing, Siri will use either haptic feedback to tell you the time so you can actually feel the time without viewing your Apple Watch, or if you have your device not on silent and you do the same thing, Siri will verbally read out loud the time. To enable this feature, just go into your settings and go into clock and enable speak to time. Enable checkmark to be controlled with silent mode or always speak regardless if it's on silent or not. So now if we do that,
1:06 p.m.
Siri just read out loud the time. And a hidden Easter egg can be found in the Mickey Mouse watch face. If you select Mickey or Minnie and you do the same thing,
It's 1:06. Good afternoon.
it'll tell you the time with the character voice. Now, if you always find yourself late to your meetings, you can always offset the Apple Watch time away from your iPhone, so your iPhone will have the correct time by a couple minutes ahead. Go into settings, go into clock, and where it says offset, this is where you could offset it by 5 minutes if you like. Personal preference, of course. I personally prefer enabling chimes, and I can select the different sound effects I like to hear. I prefer bells, and when chimes is enabled, every hour I'll receive feedback that an hour has gone by. This way I don't lose track of times. Now, another feature that's disabled by default can also be found in settings, and that is hand wash. If you scroll down to hand washing, enable this with the built-in sensors, microphones, and etc. The Apple Watch is smart enough to detect you're washing your hand and will automatically set a 20-second timer and will congratulate you once the 20 seconds has gone by, because that's the recommended time when it comes to washing your hands. And if you scroll into noise, you can always enable environmental sound measurement on. You can control the threshold. This way, if you find yourself working in a loud environment without any ear protection on, if you've been exposed to X amount of sounds for X amount of time, your Apple Watch will notify you and recommend you that you've been exposed to high decibels and you should probably move away before you cause hearing damage. This is a nifty safety feature. And then if you go into batteries, this is where you can monitor the battery life health of your Apple Watch. So if you're buying a used Apple Watch, you can view the exact percentage right here of the remaining battery capacity so you don't get ripped off. And if you scroll above optimize charging limit, you want to be aware of this because whenever you have to charge your Apple Watch in a hurry, if your Apple Watch is too hot, it's not going to charge fully. And to accelerate the process, you can always just turn it off, and you can actually allow it to turn off until tomorrow. This way, you can just charge your Apple Watch. And then if you ever dock your Apple Watch, if you have night mode enabled, here is where you will be able to use your Apple Watch as a nightstand. But in addition to that, if you tap the lightning bolt icon right here, you can see the exact percentage of your Apple Watch. Now, if you find yourself always constantly accidentally taking screenshots, go in settings, general, and turn it off right here. And if you receive a text message and you don't want to reply on your Apple Watch, you do have hand off mode, and by simply just going to your device and going app switcher, you could continue where you last left off on your Apple Watch by tapping the bottom portion. And if you want to add a keyboard on your Apple Watch that doesn't support a keyboard, you're always able to download a third-party app. The one I recommend is FlickType. The app is free to download. You can't pay to customize it, but this gives you the capability to send a message just like that, tap the contact information, and the cool thing about this app, it also supports third parties. So if you have an SE or an Apple Watch that does not support a built-in keyboard and you'd like to have that capability, FlickType is the app to use. I have a link in the description. Now, for us who have access to an always-on-display iPhone, but you don't like your sensitive information to be able to be viewed at a glance, you can also disable this by going in settings Go into notifications, and then scroll down to where it says show summary when locked. When you disable this, now whenever we enter always on display, our activity levels and other complications with sensitive information is now locked, which is quite awesome. See? So boop, it's gone. And if you want to add additional privacy, enable tap to show full notification. This way, whenever someone sends you a text message, you need to tap to actually see the full body of the notification instead of just showing you the body right then and there in case you're next to somebody, preventing awkward situations, of course. And then lastly, can be found in the accessibility as I previously stated, because right here, if you go into assistive touch, if you enable this, you have hand gesture controls similar to like what Apple was demonstrating with the double tap to navigate with your Apple Watch. So right here, I do have it enabled on my Ultra, and just go ahead and like check mark it from right here. And now whenever you do like a clench, you have full capability to like control your Apple Watch. Why is it buggy on me? But more to the story, experiment with this, but it's not the same compared to Apple's like quickly like double glance thing that they were featuring. Totally different. That one actually has built-in UI. It's more sensitive. This one is a little bit buggy in my opinion, but experiment with it if you really want to unlock that feature. In my opinion, it's a headache. It's not worth recommending. And if your Apple Watch screen is busted, it's not responsive, you can control your Apple Watch with your iPhone by going in settings and go into accessibility, and where it says Apple Watch mirroring, enable this, let it load. You can also AirPlay this to the TV too, but here you could control literally every little thing you could do on an Apple Watch. It's somewhat laggy, but this is like worst case scenario. If you like mess up your Apple Watch and you just need to control it somehow, you could do this to override it. Now, as an added bonus, I love these like sport loop bands. These things are really cool because if I ever have to store away my Apple Watch, I could just do this, wrap it around like a burrito, and the screen is protected. I could put this in my back pocket. If I'm using the camera app on my Apple Watch, I could strap it like so and go ahead and launch the camera app. And here I could actually control the front and back camera now, which is a new feature, without me having to actually physically tap on the display. And I have the viewfinder, and it's excellent for like large gathering. And some of these loop bands actually have reflective yarns, so you could be spotted if you're an outdoor runner and you're running at night. So oncoming vehicle headlights will be able to illuminate your wrist. This thing is awesome. I'll include links to it in the description of some of my favorite loop bands. And for a cool hack, if you're wondering how I was able to get this Pokemon watch face for my Apple Watch, I'll pin a comment in the comment section linking to that video. And just like that, now you are informed and you understand how to use your Apple Watch to its full potential. If you'd like to watch more videos, you know what to do. Hit that like button as well as get subscribed for more future uploads. But in addition to that, if you have an Apple TV and you're on Apple TV OS 17, highly recommend checking out this video over here where I go through all the new features and changes that Apple did for the latest TV OS. Thanks so much for watching.